Hey, I'm Meghann Scully, and this is the Limerick Post Show, and we're in the brand new space, the Crew Brewery. I keep saying that word wrong. You're going to say it for me because I'm going to say it wrong.
It's Crew Brewing Company. That might be easier for you.
I just can't say that word. It's like a brewery, and I always get it wrong. Jono, Gareth, and Joel, of course, this is your new baby. So first of all, bring us back. How did you get into brewing beer?
I just started doing brewery tours when I was living in Canada, and I just kind of fell in love. They're all like, every time you do one, it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. There's just beer everywhere, and everyone's enjoying themselves, and everyone's so happy. So I just decided that was the life for me. Started working at a brewery, and then decided we wanted to open our own place. We've been talking about opening a business together since we met 8 or 9 years ago. And so I went to Chicago and then to Munich to become a master brewer. So I'd be a little more confident running my own place. And then we came back to Ireland, started looking for the best place to open the business, and then we found here.
I have to say, it is a great location too. You're surrounded by some really good spots. Now, Gareth, you mentioned that you're from the kind of hospitality industry. So are you going to be looking after the hospitable side of this place?
Yeah, that's it. The more front of house operations, not that there's been any of that yet. So so far it's just been trying to figure out everything together in terms of planning permission, licensing, and everything else we need to set up before we get open. But then once we're open, yeah, that'll be it. Joel and I met around 10 years ago. And we started a job in the restaurant the same day. We've been friends ever since, and we've just both been working in front of house hospitality jobs, working our way up in the industry ever since.
I have to say, this is the best little companion here. This is Tess. Sorry, Tess, we've got to introduce you on camera. Joel, talk to us about how it's been. Obviously, we're in a pandemic. COVID happened. You probably shut the place down, and now you're trying to get going again. How has it been?
Things have been slow, but it's also given us an opportunity to build it exactly the way we want. There's the tanks behind the bar, originally from a little sketch that Gareth drew. These booths, benches, like a little model that we made in the house. The carpenter just copied it and made the exact same thing. So everything's coming together like a little dream come true, really. So
it's a beautiful spot. Jono, tell us about the beers that are going to be available here.
First year we expect to brew between 30 and 40 different beers.
Wow.
And some of those multiple times, the more popular ones, the ones we're happier with. So kind of everything. Like, we're studying in the US. I learned a lot about the like more modern craft styles, IPAs and that sort of thing. And then studying in Germany, I learned a lot about like more of the classic, like traditional German styles. So kind of everything. We also have a fairly small batch size, so we can experiment a lot. So also, if anyone has any suggestions, we'll probably brew it. Like, we're kind of up for the challenge to brew anything.
I love seeing that. You do see that a lot of places. They're kind of like, oh, we decided to throw a bit of chocolate in here, we decided to throw a little bit of licorice in here and see what happens. It must be very exciting to have a place like this in somewhere like Limerick, because Limerick is actually becoming very well known for its craft beers.
Yeah, that's right. You have Treaty City there, but not much else. And it's good to see a lot of the bars in the city supporting Treaty City. You know, a lot of bars you go to that you might not expect to see a lot of craft beer taps or cans or bottles in their selection. Actually, a lot of them have Treaty City, and that's a real... It's good to see. We think there's a real sort of gap in the market here for Limerick for more breweries. We think we'll not be the last.
More beer.
There'll be more craft breweries popping up. It's a real growing trend in Ireland, and Limerick's a great place to start this one and see more of it.
Absolutely. Joel, now I know given restrictions and regulations every 2 to 3 weeks we're getting changes, but have you kind of maybe a rough plan in kind of mind when you think you might be able to open up?
we're looking at a few different options, hopefully within a month or so, but it would be dependent on whatever becomes available, whether bars are allowed to open, whether we have to get a food partner and open that kind of way, whether it'll be a canning operation. Like there's a lot of different scenarios, but hopefully we get open. That's the preferred option. We're social people. The idea is to create a social hub, and we want people in here. We want to be able to talk to people about our own beer and present it to them. So that's the dream.
John, I think you're running the social media at the moment. Tell us about when, I suppose you're quite active in social media, so where can we find you guys?
So the Instagram and Twitter are both at Crew Brew Co. I've never run social media in my life, but I'm having so much fun. It's like the best part of my day is just taking photos and letting other people do all the work. So follow us there. Whenever we're opening, everything will be on there. So whether we're putting beer into cans, whether we're opening with food or we're opening the pub side, that'll be the first place to find out.
Absolutely incredible, lads. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you and getting to know the place, and Tess, of course, and we cannot wait to see you open, and I cannot wait being here drinking beers with tea.
Thanks very much. Thank you.